Hey, good evening, everyone. Not sure, we're having a few problems today. When I say we, I mean I'm having a few problems today. Give me a shout if you can see me actually, because my camera doesn't seem to be working. So let me know if you can see me. Hello to everybody who's here, and this is this live session is on CPE writing actually. Initially I said it was on CAE and CPE writing, but I have to be honest, I realized that it is a lot more complicated than just one stream session. So I'm going to have to do a few stream sessions just to do the CPE writing, and concurrently I'll do the CAE writing as well. So if you are here and you're maybe disappointed because you wanted to see CAE writing or IELTS writing, don't worry, because it is quite similar in many ways. Essay writing in general is the same all across. Some of the techniques are different, perhaps some of the tasks are different. Give me a shout out if you can hear me, because I'm not sure about today's stream. So if you can hear me, drop a comment, say yeah, I can hear you. So, and if you can see me, just say yes, I can see you too. So that would be very good. Without further ado, I'll take you through the first slide. So there is, as you can see, CPE writing paper introduction. Guys, let me know if you can see me, because there's a bit of a problem here today with the stream. So is there a reason why I'm having a few problems with the stream? I don't know. Let's see if this can be done again. Let's start all over again. So let me know if you can see me, because I'm having a few issues today with the stream. I don't know if I can see myself. There we are. So drop a comment if you can see the stream, because we are having a few technical issues today. Can you guys hear me now? Can you please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, because it's really annoying today. I don't know what's going on. I think there is a problem with the servers. Let me know if you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me now, and see me for that matter. That it happens sometimes, but there's nothing I can do, unfortunately, but try again. I am streaming. I don't know why it's not saying that I'm not streaming. That is very, very strange. Can you guys now hear me or see me? Is there anything at all I can do? So let's see if this works now, because it is now well over 15 minutes that I've been talking. Oh, great, Alessandra. Thanks very much. Big up to Alessandra Manella. Now she can hear me and see me. So let's go to the expected word length. We were talking about the word length, which is 240 to 280 words. And in the IELTS exam, it's similar, isn't it? So in this way, it's important that you can write this much. The only way you can do that is by practicing. Get a question, write down the specified amount, and see if you wrote well or not. So the specified word range is intended as a guide. If significantly fewer words are written, this is likely to mean that the task has not been successfully completed. So you have to make sure that you write the recommended amount of words. Let's move on. However, in the context of the new Cambridge English Writing Mark Scheme, candidates are not explicitly penalized, it's a naughty word, penalized, for the length of their response. So if you write 200 words, but your answer is really good, then you're probably going to get good marks. If you write 300, 400 words, but your answer is terrible, then you can imagine, right? So it's not only about quantity, it's about quality. So you need to practice writing well. Exceeding the recommended word range is therefore acceptable, though if there is resulting irrelevance, repetition, or poor organization, this may be penalized. So you don't need to repeat things. You can say things only once, and that's enough. Repeating words, repeating ideas, not a good idea. So when you're planning, make sure that every single paragraph talks about something different. Having a nice organization is basis to your success. So if you know you're going to write 3 ideas or 4 different ideas, you need 4 different paragraphs maybe. And every paragraph will have to talk about a separate thing. Remember that readers should be able to read your essay very, very easily. If the reader is struggling, then that's not a good sign. Because if you're struggling to read your own essay, that means the reader's gonna struggle even more. So next is task type and focus. In part 1, candidates are asked to write an essay. The question in part 1 always has a discursive focus. Discursive writing is a style used in academic writing, like IELTS, for example, and it requires the high level of language competence appropriate at C2 level. So you need to up your game. You need to really write well. Some of the writings at C2 level are really impressive. One of my students the other day wrote a really good essay. It was, high level English. So many times it's just a matter of increasing your level by reading a lot, by using other ideas. So if you're writing an essay, do some research and use some of the language that you found in the research. That's one way of doing it. In the exam, you can't do that, of course, but that's why you need to practice before. In addition, the ability to identify key points from a text is considered important at C2 level. At any level, you will need to be able to take the points and regurgitate them in your own way. So you will have this task given to you. You will absorb the ideas, you will think about them, and you'll talk about them using your own knowledge. That's the whole idea. And the CEFR, that's Common European Framework of Reference, states that at this level, candidates should be able to summarize information from different sources, reconstructing arguments and accounts in a coherent presentation of the overall results. So basically, you should be able to take an idea, think about it, and talk about it then. That's the main thing. Now, is everybody able to see the text properly? If you're not, I will drop this PowerPoint presentation or the PDF in the description so you can download it and read it in your own time, because unfortunately today has been a bit of a disaster in terms of technical problems. Task format. Candidates are required to base their answer on input material, which will take the form of 2 texts, each approximately 100 words. So in the CPE, you're given 2 texts, possibly contrasting each other in some way, but relevant to each other. The text will be based on a variety of authentic contemporary sources. Since the task focus is on productive language, the input will be well within the reading competence of the candidate at this level. So you'll be able to understand it. And preparation. Candidates need to read the questions very carefully in order to perform the task set effectively. Needless to say that if you don't read carefully, you will miss something. It is important that students are familiar with the format of the paper, so you have to practice the paper as much as you can. If you're doing the IELTS exam and you're not interested in the CPE, it might be a good idea to try the CPE exam as a mock test. You can come to me. I can drop you mock test in the link if you like, or you can download it from the Cambridge site, because it really expands your vocabulary, expands your skill set. So not only IELTS, don't focus only on one exam, but try to practice other ones as well. Candidates should get into the habit of planning their answers thoroughly before they begin to write. Very, very good candidates can do it in their head, like that. They can plan their essay. They can do 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter how many paragraphs you need. Oh, my cat is going crazy. Sorry about that. So if you're not that confident, you have to prepare your answers. You have to organize your answers. So have like a plan. Introduction, I'm going to talk about the topic in general. First paragraph, the most important point. Second paragraph, second most important point, and so on and so forth. Like this, when you're writing, you have the plan on the side and you have the essay on the side, and you can always refer to the plan and write. It helps, especially when you're stressed out. When you're stressed out, to have a plan is a very good thing. Whatever exam you're doing, that is. Next, preparation. The various task types which appear on the paper require the use of range of language functions. For example, the language of persuasion, description, recommendation, and comparison. So, what are the different ways of persuading people? One way of saying you should do that. The other way of saying in a more formal context could be it is advisable, it is recommended, it is believed that it works, it's worthwhile doing something. These are different ways of persuading, which are very delicate. At the same time, they can carry out the function of persuasion. Description is the same, recommendation as well. So in the next stream, which will be in a week's time, I will go into some of the language that you can use in order to get higher marks at the essay level. I will go into some of the grammar and some of the language that you can use. It's very hard to include everything in a video, but I will go over some of the main things, and you will find it definitely worthwhile watching. So next, correct spelling and punctuation are important. If spelling errors or faulty punctuation impede communication, then this will be reflected in the mark awarded. So they expect you to write correctly with the correct punctuation. That means capital letters, small letters, like commas, semicolons, and columns. Be careful if your language uses columns and semicolons. It's not. It doesn't follow that English will have the same rules. So you must be very careful, because you can lose marks like that. So candidates are expected to use a particular variety of English with some degree of consistency. Familiarity with the assessment criteria can be another useful part of preparation. Candidates are assessed on a scale incorporating 4 analytic criteria like content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. So I think we've done that. Let's go to assessment. Tasks are assessed with explicit reference to the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. The scales which are used across the spectrum are the follows, as we have done before. Content focuses on how well the candidate has fulfilled the task. In other words, if they have done what they were asked to do. So you should be able to finish the task at least. If they say compare and contrast, you need to do that. If they say discuss that, you need to discuss it. So it's important that you carry out the task. Communicative achievement focuses on how appropriate the writing is for the task and whether the candidate has used the appropriate register. So your writing has to be appropriate in terms of register. If it's formal writing, you need to use formal words. If it's informal writing, which it won't be the case in the CPE exam, then vice versa. If it's an article, you need to use different language. We will talk about that in a subsequent stream. Organization focuses on the way the candidate puts together the piece of writing. In other words, if it's logical and ordered. So again, paragraphs is important in this case. Sequencing is important in this case. Connecting ideas in a logical way is important in this case. Language focuses on vocabulary and grammar. This includes the range of language as well as how accurate it is. This is something you just need to work on. Read about the topics you're going to be writing about. Take notes, add to your vocabulary. Simple as that. If you want to write about environment, read a few articles, take notes, expressions, and then you can use them. Next, this is a table of I will leave for you to read in your time, but I wrote down how to get score 3, 4, and 5. I didn't write score 2 because score 2 is really low. If you're getting score 2 in the CPE exam, it's not worthwhile actually attempting it. So you need to get at least 3. So in this case, you will learn all the different criteria that are involved. Assessment. When marking the task, examiner takes into account the length of the response. Of course, the length is important. Of course, they say the 240 words is the minimum, but if you do write a little less, it's not a big problem. As far as it's good. Candidates are expected to use a particular variety of English with some degree of consistency in areas such as spelling, and not for example switch from British spelling of a word to American spelling of the same word. So if, for example, you like American English and you spell color C-O-L-O-R, which is fine. I'm not British, I'm not American, sorry. I write C-O-L-O-U-R, but that's perfectly fine. But then stick to that spelling throughout your writing. Color will be like that, favor will be like that, center will be written C-E-N-T-E-R, etc. You can't just you can't have a mishmash of both languages. Stick with one or the other. Both are okay. There's nothing wrong with American English. It's actually more widely spoken than British English. So there you go. Content relevance. Relevant means related or relatable to required content points and or task requirements. Please don't go completely out of the topic. For example, if you're talking about the expansion of cities, don't talk about villages. If you're talking about technology and its impact on young people, don't talk about middle-aged people. Keep to the point. Rather, explore more deeply into these particular areas. Target reader. The target reader is the hypothetical reader set up in the task. So if you're writing an essay, you're writing it for your teacher or for the examiner. That's your target reader. Informed. The target reader is informed if content points and or task requirements are addressed and appropriately developed. Some content points do not require much development. For example, state what is X, etc. Communicative achievement, conventions of the communicative task. Conventions of the communicative task include such things as genre, format, register, and function. For example, a personal letter should not be written as a formal report, should be laid out accordingly and use the right tone for the communicative purpose. I mean, this is quite obvious, yeah? You write an essay like an essay, an academic way, and you write a letter in a different tone. Holding the target reader's attention. Okay, so when you're writing, you need to be interesting as well. So holding the target reader's attention is used in a positive sense and refers to the quality of a text that allows a reader to derive meaning and not be distracted. It does not refer to texts that force a reader to read closely because they are difficult to follow or make sense of. So if your essay is so difficult that the examiner has to read carefully to make sense of it, you're going to get low marks because it's just not going to work. You must be able to hold his attention. So your points, the points you're talking about, should be discussed, not too much into detail, otherwise you're losing them, but not too little. And there should be some kind of a momentum going from one point to the other. It should be quite fluid and not stuttering. You know, you're talking about this, then who knows where you're going, then you're coming back, etc. So it's important that you have that momentum through your essay. You go from point 1 to 2 to 3, you make a point, you move on to the next one, you use cohesive devices like, furthermore, what's more, on the other hand, these kind of things help you to write more cohesively. Communicative purpose. Communicative purpose refers to the communicative requirement as set out in the task. For example, you're making a complaint, you have to make a complaint, it's obvious. Straightforward and complex ideas. This is a bit harder. Straightforward ideas are those which relate to relatively limited subject matter, usually concrete in nature, and require simpler rhetorical devices to communicate. Complex ideas are those which are more abstract in nature. This is where many students lose marks. They're not able to express complex ideas in correct English or in convincing English. So this is where you need to practice. In the future streams, we will look into this as well. So just stick around. Okay, so next bit is organization, linking words, cohesive devices, organization patterns. Linking words are cohesive devices but are separate here to refer to higher frequency vocabulary which provides explicit linkage. They can range from basic high frequency items such as and but to basic phrasal items such as because, first of all, finally. Cohesive devices refer to a more sophisticated linking words and phrases which you need to know. Example, moreover, it may appear as a result, as well as grammatical devices such as the use of reference pronouns, substitutions. This is again very hard and we will go over it in the future streams. Reference pronouns are absolutely amazing. They give you that momentum, so you don't stop at every single sentence but you flow, and this is really important. Substitutions as well. There are two women in the picture. This is an example. The one on the right, etc. Ellipses, like when you leave out words. The first car he owned was a convertible. The second, a family car. Or repetition. Organization refers to less explicit ways of achieving connection at the between sentence level and beyond. Example, arranging sentences in a climactic order. The use of parallelism. Using a rhetorical question to set up a new paragraph. Again, we will go through them, but these are important ways. You should test them. Write an essay and then look at this video, download the file if you have to, look at the different skill sets that they're asking you to use and use them. And also, after you've written your essay, see which of the skills that they've asked you to use, which of the tools that they've asked you to use, you've used. Because if you use only 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10, then it's not good enough, Language, basic vocabulary refers to vocabulary used for survival purpose, for simple transactions and the like. Everyday vocabulary refers to vocabulary that comes up in common situations of non-technical nature in the relevant domain. Less common lexis, this is where you get high marks, refers to vocabulary items that appear less often in the relevant domain. These items often help to express ideas more succinctly and precisely. And we are coming close to the end, actually. Language, here it tells you the appropriacy of vocabulary. The use of words and phrases that fit the context of the given task. So if you're talking about, let's say, friendships, you need to know the words to express the concept. So if you only know a couple, then that's not going to be enough. For example, I'm very sensible to noise. The word sensible is inappropriate, as the word should be sensitive. Another example would be, today's big snow makes getting around the city difficult. The phrase getting around is well suited to this situation. However, big snow is inappropriate, as big and snow are not used together. Heavy snow would be appropriate. Grammatical forms, simple grammatical forms, words, phrases, etc. Basic tenses, and complex grammatical forms, longer and more complex items. Example, noun clauses, relative and adverb clauses, subordination, passive forms, infinitives, verb patterns, modal forms, and tense contrast. Again, this has to be dealt with in a separate video. Unfortunately, today we will just touch on this. Language, grammatical control. The ability to consistently use grammar accurately and appropriately to convey intended meaning. Where language specifications are provided at lower levels, such as A2, candidates may have control of only the simplest exponents of the listed forms. So you need to know all the damn tenses in the English language. At C2, if you don't know the future perfect, then you're in trouble. If you don't know the past perfect continuous, then you're in trouble. If you don't know if, I wish, if only, or the third conditional variation, then you're in trouble. You need to know all the tenses. Here is an idea. When we do the next streams, I will present to you a list of grammar tenses that you need to study. If you have them under your belt, you're cool. Next step would be to be able to use them, of course, but I'll provide you that list in the next stream. Range, the variety of words and grammatical forms a candidate uses. At higher levels, candidates will make increasing use of great variety of words, fixed phrases, collocations, and grammatical forms. Yes, of course. Again, this is, something you can work on your own. You are, if you're writing about a particular kind of topic, do research. If you do research, you're good. If you don't do any research and you're just writing, you're fighting a war with a carrot, literally. You're fighting a battle where you have people with swords and daggers and bazookas, and you come out with a carrot saying, hey, I want to fight this war. No, you can't. So you have to go out there, research, and then write an essay, especially when you're preparing for the exam. Overuse. This is a major problem for some students. Overuse refers to those cases where candidates repeatedly use the same word because they do not have the resources to use another term or phrase the same idea in another way. Some words may unavoidably appear often as a result of being the topic of the task. That is not covered by the term overuse. So you can learn to say things in a different way, and that should be already under your belt. Errors and slips. Errors are systematic mistakes. Slips are mistakes that are non-systematic. That is, the candidate has learned the vocabulary item or grammatical structure, but just happened to make a mistake in this instance. In a candidate's response, where most other examples of lexical grammatical points are accurate, a mistake on that point would be most likely a slip. So they forgive you if you make a slip, but they don't forget errors. They don't forgive you for errors, because errors are the ones which reflect lack of command on the English language. Language, impede communication. Impede communication means getting in the way of meaning. Meaning can still be determined, indicates that some effort is required from the reader to determine the meaning. So if you're talking about future and you're using the past tense, that's impeding communication. It shouldn't be happening at this level. So guys, thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for putting up with all the troubles with the stream that we had today. I hope next time it'll be all fixed. Thank you very much. And next Wednesday, I hope that we can go deeper into essay writing and how to improve the language in its entirety so you can get better marks. Okay. So once again, thanks very much, and I shall see you in the next stream. Bye for now. Peace.